TV family, new joiners, followers, subscribers. Let me welcome you to Rapport TV by saying, may the peace and blessing of God be upon you all. We're here to review policies, health, development, food, and the matters affecting African society at large. For those of us, people of African descent, both on the continent and those living in diaspora. With your suggestions and your participation, we will together be able to implement or make policy suggestions which could be taken by our authorities and also our followers back at home in trying to make or create a better and livable African society. Why not join us every weekend or like, share, subscribe to this channel of Rapport TV and also click the notification bell in case there is any new publication from Rapport TV so you won't actually miss anything. Join us now and let us create a better Africa for all. Thank you. A silent crusade. I don't want to say this word, but I must say it. So either that, because why on earth should a missionary school have a problem with a child or a ward of different faith covering a head? This is one thing that we haven't actually worked on before. Our late Sheikh Isa Osei was doing justice to this. Assalamu alaikum Abdullah. Yeah. So our late Sheikh Isa Osei was doing justice to this, interpreting Islam right from the Bible. So if I think the entourage or the delegate that actually went to see the Methodist mission were able to have some bit of understanding of comparative religion, they could have put it straight to them. It's just basic questions. Will you, had there been Mary, the mother of Jesus today, in her adolescence, will you actually deny her from covering her hair and then studying in your school? This is one thing. And secondly, the Bible actually, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1 to 6, is actually categorically making it clear that any woman who wants to be seen as godly or who wants to speak about God must cover her hair. And if she doesn't want to cover her hair, she should actually shave her entire hair. But because the hair of a woman is part of her decoration, she should cover. Then the question follows in chapter 3 to 4 that ask yourself whether it is actually sound for a woman to stand half naked before God in worship. So the issue of the veil or hijab in the first place is not only an Islamic indenture, but also a unified religious decree for the Jews, for the Christians, as well as for the Muslims. So we have nuns covering their hair. Is it that they are covering their intellect? So these are some of the things that we need to actually put across in a very amicable manner to make them understand. We are not joking with our faith. If others have joked with their faith, we are not doing it. And what excuse did they give? What excuse did they give actually here? This is what I want to read. This is a communique that came from the Ghana Education Service. I don't know whether you will be able to see this. The camera is too much.
Oh, but I mean, just read it. It's not clear, so okay. You can read it.
So this is from the Ghana Education Service, dated 1st of May 2021. That was yesterday. In case of reply, the number and the date of this letter should be quoted. and then a reference was given, and GSPR release 67. Press release. Rejoinder or response: Wesley Girls High School prevents a student from fasting. Now, our attention has been drawn to various media reports relating to a recent occurrence at Wesley Girls High School, Cape Coast. It started with a student who requested of the school authorities to be allowed to fast during Ramadan. Now, fasting undertaken by students for various reasons and observed differently by the respective groupings has had varied health implications on our students over the years. The net effect was that students developed various health conditions. The school, therefore, took the decision then that irrespective of one's religious background, fasting was not permitted. It was therefore imperative that to ensure the health of students was not compromised vis-a-vis their organized school schedules, this long-standing practice had to be maintained. This was the basis for the refusal by the school authorities of the girls' request to fast during Ramadan. Now, having been appraised of the facts of this case, the Minister for Education met the presiding bishop, Most Reverend Dr. Paul Kobnabuafu, and some board members of Wesley Girls High School. The school authorities made it clear that it had no intention whatsoever of interfering with the religious practice of any group of students, but had prioritized the health of young girls placed in their care. The minister advised the Ghana Education Service to put in place measures to address this matter, bearing in mind the rights of students and concerns of schools on the health risks associated with the fasting. The Ghana Education Service, therefore, directs authorities of Wesley Girls High School, as well as any other school, to allow any such student who wishes to fast for any religious reason to do so. The parents of any such students are also directed to write to the school indicating that the school shall not be held liable for any health conditions of the students as a result of the fast. Staff, students, and general public are to take note. Signed by Cassandra Chum Ampofu, Head, Public Relations Unit. So this is actually the response that was given. Sorry to say, this response is just a flimsy excuse and something being used as a pretense just to save the face or to save the chaos that is coming. But this is not a sound response, actually. Since when has fasting been proven to be a detriment to human health? When we ourselves have been ordained that when you're sick, when you're traveling, when you're nursing a child, if you are insane, it's not binding on you to fast. So since when has actually people of different faith decide to regulate our religion for us? I just can't understand that people will be assigned or prescribed fasting to detoxify their systems. And when we have it as a spiritual duty, now people are using as a pretense to do this. Now, for the record, there is another person, another brother joining us. Brother Nile, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So for the record, this should actually be listened to clearly. I don't think it is wise for what the school is doing. The school happened to be a closed missionary school, but then being within the public cycle schools, they have no right or whatsoever to stop the influx of children from other religious communities in joining due to the what we call it the compulsory computer placement system or policy right now. So some of our children or wards will also be sent to that school. Now you welcome them and you try to regulate them in your own manner. That should not be allowed. And my question to any Christian neighbor or any Christian sibling listening to this is, would they have treated Mary, the mother of Jesus, the same way they treating Muslim girls attending their schools today? And if so, will Mary have been marginalized in an attempt to attain education? Why not in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s, but now? Now that we have even examples of women, female leadership coming up with hijab, leading countries, coming out with hijab, leading organizations, leading institutions. And this is the time you will create a hostile learning environment for a Muslim girl child. Now, there are so many repercussions that could come to this. Many things have happened in Nigeria where some groups stood up to say that even secular education is what? It's a prohibition, which they call themselves Boko Haram. These are some of the small droplets that actually went a long way to form these radical groupings, which we don't want in our country. So if they think they are doing us good, they should know that our attempt to give our girl child education is being trampled upon. It's not about the egoistic nature of that mistress of the school who is actually following her own selfishness, because what she is doing has no legal, moral, ethical, and spiritual backing. It has nothing. She's only following her own ego. And that's why one sister spoke about us testing the law. Brother Nile made mention of it. Brother Dennis made mention of it. And Honorable also made mention of it. When things happen, we have to go through logical ways of tackling things. And where need be, we have to put the rigors of the law and let people answer before the so this is actually why we're here today. Now we have brother Bubu Hussein who joined us, and there's another brother Mohammed who also joined. You welcome the brother Hussein and brother Mohammed. Are you with us? Okay, we will go ahead. So Honorable,
No.
are you? Yeah, okay. In your view, what do you think is the next step apart from our siblings in the parliament following what we've been preaching for so many years? I'm so happy to hear that the caucuses of the Ghana parliament from both the MPP, NDC, or whichever party has a Muslim MP, they actually formed a strategic. We need strategic unity in our society, in our community. A formidable front, which will be a force to reckon with, because every society that is well organized has got an advocacy group, has got a pressure, has got actually a motivational group, which we lacking due to the disunity Brother Nile actually made mention of. So, Honorable, what, in your opinion, should be the necessary next step that we should take to prevent such an unfortunate event?
Thank you, Brother Inisa. First of all, we must be guided by history in this country. There are so many reasons why earlier on we were lacking behind when it comes to education. Right. The reason we all need to know was that our parents were not allowing us to go those days, our grandparents,
Right.
Because they believe that most of our family then turn out to be Christians. Because by the time he finishes with the school, that is why we could not go to school those days. Now that we have started and you can see us in all the schools, in all levels, it means that we've accepted the fact that we want to go to school.
Exactly.
And as you said, this woman, whether it's a crusade or whatever, has a tactics, which was, I believe that has been programmed to ensure that we minimize Muslim enrollment in schools. Because when they start doing this, it means that archaic or primitive thinking will be ignited again. So that people will say, okay, if I should take my son to school or my daughter to school, she end up not praying, coming back non-Muslim, why not let her go to Makaranta and be free?
Right.
So by doing so, it means they minimize Muslim enrollment and then bring us back as we started. So first, what we have to do is to continue psyching our communities. Irrespective of the fact that we have all these challenges, we should take the decision that, look, whatever it is, we will go to the school. And as Prof. Nail said, one thing to also advise our students, our clients when they are going to school, our brothers and sisters, they should be Muslim from day one on campuses. They should be seen as Muslims from day one on their various campuses. So that at least when they are seen to be Muslims, certain utterances, certain approaches will not be done or not be done to them. Rather than being some mingle with people in all activities, and then when it comes to certain time, you want to show up you're a Muslim. And then thirdly, I would wish and pray that we have a Muslim front who will be the combination of all, from all sector, all the stakeholders be part of it. Our brothers and sisters in all the institutions coming together to ensure that their mission was to protect the right of every single Muslim or Muslimah in all the tertiary, all the institutions from first, second, and the tertiary, to ensure that our rights will not be trampled upon at any point in time. Issue about the early 90s and 80s. You know, in the early 80s or late 80s or early 90s, because there wasn't something like social media, there wasn't enough media houses, there wasn't like mobile phone and stuff. Some of these things were not able to come out. But there were these kind of things in there that was being done to our Muslims. So you could see that those days people drop out from school as many as we can count. Simply because in the middle of the education, he realized that, look, what they are giving me will affect my religion. The person will abandon it. So I am of the view that whilst we are advised to go and test the law, we must have an institution. If not, usually we don't want to come together as Muslims. We elite, we the educated ones, come together, purposely for this fight, establish a group or whatever, whether an ad hoc group or whatever committee, to ensure that we follow this thing to the ladder. So at the end of the day, we get a pronouncement from the Supreme Court of this country, giving us our rights, ensuring that we go to school without any hinges. The repercussions, as you said, are very, very serious. You know, these things started in other countries, end up creating violence. We are peaceful people in this country, but we cannot suppress everybody's anger at any point in time. So they should be mindful of the fact that, look, you cannot suppress someone's faith for the interest of your faith. This has never happened everywhere in the world. So what we have to do as Muslims is to unite, have a strong front to fight this. Brother Dennis talked about the demonstration that happened during wearing of hijab. I only saw it on even social media. Let's ask ourselves the level of awareness we created before the demonstration was held. In my community, Otafo, I never heard of it. So we should also learn that when we are organizing program, we must try to invite every angle of Muslims. Try and get the message across, trickling down to every Muslim community. It shouldn't be like we're organizing it in Kumasi. So when you say it on Zuria or Alpha Radio, that is the end. Make sure that every Muslim community, every mosque, everywhere we know, all the Muslim groupings are aware. So that when we are coming, we come with heavy number of people that will attract the attention of the state. So move forward, I think we should, as Brunel said, it shouldn't be violent, amicable solution, but we should be very consistent and we appear to be united with one mission. I think when we do that, it will yield the results for us.
That's great. Thanks for the submission. Brother Abdullah, welcome to the program. Do you have any comments to us on the possible?
Brother Lisa, your mic is breaking.
Okay. Am I clear now?
Yeah, you're not clear.
Okay, so Brother Abdullah, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I think the brother who just talked, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I concur with his submissions. But we have to look to a holistic approach to all these problems, because now Islamophobia is just a global issue. And, the problem facing us Muslims in Ghana is that we just lack the institution to tackle all these issues. For example, when you take the Muslim community in Ghana, we can mention names like the Chief Imam Office, the Al Sunnah Office, the Tijaniya Office, the Ahmadiyya Office. But when it comes to tackling a particular issue that cut across the Muslim community, we fail to come together. That is the real issue facing us. For example, when I was in Ghana, that was in 2001, working with Metro TV as a journalist. I could remember when the Kufuor administration came into power, a delegation from the Christian Council went to meet him to table their requirements, what they need as Christians in Ghana. But unfortunately, the Ghanaian Muslim community is nowhere to be found. So when it comes to issues of Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, the politician will come to us. When we do the Chief Imam organized Maulid, they will be there. When we have, they just have to distribute pockets of gifts to us. And that's all. But we fail to come together as a body so that we understand that the Islamic injunction on ta'awanu al-birri wa taqwa, so that we can work together to fight. I could remember I was listening to a program by Dr. Yasser Kader of USC. He was giving a history on the side of his parents when they came to United States of America. He said the Muslim community have to work together, even with the Shia. They built a mosque together. The Sunnis and Shia even built a mosque together, pray together, fight for their rights in US. When everything was seems to be settling and the number was increasing, now they have to go their separate ways, but they have to agree that they are Muslims, that they have a common goal together, irrespective of their differences. But in the case of Ghana, as at now, we don't have a structure that we can boast of, that when something just crop up, we can fight together. For example, the brother was talking about a demonstration, which was not widely advertised. It is true. All this, we could see that the lack of institutions is just affecting the Muslim community in Ghana. It is time that we have to rise up to talk about it, to call some kind of debate in order to normalize all these situations. If not, we can be having demonstrations, pockets of demonstration, pockets of grievances, write-ups and everything, but it will not have bearing on them because it is a well-orchestrated agenda throughout the world. You know, there is this fear before, when we talk about the 80s and 90s, calculate how many percentage of Muslim students are in the second cycle institution. It is very small.
Minimal, yes.
Compared to nowadays that even our Muslim girls, you could find them more in the second cycle institution. So that is the fear. That is the real fear affecting people. I went to a Catholic school, St. Thomas Aquinas, and our headmaster by then, Reverend Father Samuel Bacha, will sometimes come to our meeting, the Ghana Muslim Students Association, and address us. We have a good rapport. He gave us that leeway for us to practice our religion very well. But the Bible study, religious study is compulsory. Bible study is compulsory for all students. We take part, even assembly. We have to take part, even if there is Christian celebration like the Catholic celebration of Ash Wednesday. We take part, we sing together. But we were given that leeway that we can also practice our religion side by side. So it really helped us. And my second point before I give a chance to other brothers is that the second point is, are we making use of our constitution in Ghana? Because Ghana is a secular country.
Secular democratic nation, right?
Yeah, and we have a constitution that defines freedom of worship, freedom of association. All these second cycle institutions that are under these churches, the Methodist Church, the Catholic Church, Presbyterians, are now taking support from government. They are almost government owned because they are being resourced by government.
Right.
They are now a public institutions, you know, but there is a kind of administrative opportunity given by the churches to play a role in it. But in a nutshell, they are just public institutions. So every Ghanaian, irrespective of where he's coming from, has the right to attend these schools and to practice his religion. So we just have to take a holistic approach that our institutions should come together. We shouldn't be talking individually or in pockets of group. We just have to make sure that our institutions are working the way it's supposed to be in order to tackle all these institutions.
Right.
Since I joined very late, I will give a chance to the brothers so that I will be abreast with the discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the submission. So just right on some of these notes, we should actually be aware that the time we started schooling where there wasn't an Islamic school with a secular section has passed. Fortunately, in this modern era, we have a lot of Islamic second cycle institutions, right? In the past, it used to be only the Ahmadiyya, but now we have the Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah have their secondary schools. Some other institutions have their secondary schools as well. So this is the time even the coexistence and the co-education system should be actually supported. But then our people are not doing that. Why? And if they don't do that, what will happen is we will actually develop into a parallel society whereby Muslims will then form themselves, organize themselves well, not only the second cycle institutions, but also the third cycle institutions will be rolled out with time, because the more you get challenged, the more you think, right? Because they say necessity is the mother of invention. Now, the danger of this, it's a good thing for us, the Muslim community, but the danger of it is that everybody will be in their own pocket parallelly. And so there will be this growth of intolerance, which in the long run will actually give birth to what is happening in Nigeria today. That even the government cannot control anybody, because the Muslim authorities who speak for people to listen are not even being heard by these radical groupings. So if any Christian is thinking that they are our wards, our youth, just for whatever they should know very well that they are shooting themselves in the foot, because when they push us to the wall, we will definitely also wise up, unite, put up more second cycle institutions, and refuse the public institutions. What will happen in our society in the future? So this is actually a food for thought for any egoistic person abusing the authority to actually create hostile learning environment for our wards from the Muslim or the Zongo communities. We say they should rethink whatever oath of secrecy they've sworn to embark upon, whether it is a secret, what a crusade or whatever, we don't care. But due to the notorious nature of this school, I'm being forced to utter these words, because it is only this school that has been in the media, boycotting Muslim students from reading their Quran, from saying their Salah, from putting on their hijab, and now from even saying Ramadan. Who in his right set of mind will actually infringe upon this holy thing. So I think I will also give the opportunity to some of our siblings who just joined. We have Brother Omar, we have Sister Nafisa, and we have Abu Bakr. Do you have something to also submit to this discussion? I think Brother Omar wants to register something, right? Okay. Honorable, do you have something to add if no one is actually taking the...
Yes, okay.
Brother,
Brothers, go ahead.
Okay, brother.
Okay. Assalamu
alaikum.
Brother Yunus, with regards to the demonstration my brother talked about, it's the message. It is the problem is our people didn't come out. I quite remember we made a lot of noises on social media, and then back home too, some brothers took it up. From Tafo, the chief imam of Al Sunnah, Tafo, Brother Sheikh Kamil, he came to the central mosque and joined others there, together with Honorable Muntaka Mubarak. They hit the street. When you, in our crowd too, some sisters organized it, and I even saw Hassan Suini, our MP from the north, and then in, I think Takradi and Tamale too. Our people didn't come out. That's the problem, because it's not politics. If it were to be election time, that is where we will come out in numbers. But things that has to do with our deen, we don't show much interest. Now, in the letter you read before, with regards to the health issue, so it is now that the Ghana Education Service thought about this. They never thought about that way back, years back. Fine, let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
Health-wise, it doesn't make sense. It's actually, it doesn't have logical consistency. Okay, go ahead.
We have Ghana Muslim Council. I think there is a leadership failure, like my brother said. So what should we do now? Alhamdulillah, we have academians in our community, like our brother Naif, like brother Sheikh, and brother Kish Yando, like brother Sheikh Nuama. Why don't our leaders, the Ghana Muslim Council, bring these our brothers together? Let them have a dialogue with the Ghana Education Service. It has never happened before. Why don't we bring these our brothers who are in the education field now, lecturing universities and other things? Why don't we, our leaders, bring them together and say, look, this is not we didn't go to school, so you are in the field. Go and have a dialogue with the Ministry of Education. Go and have a dialogue with the Minister of Education. And after that, our community too, you go to the parliamentarians. It is high time they started educating our people about their rights. Majority of our people, they don't know their rights. It must be start from the mosques, educating the community. What is our right in the country? What the law says, what do we have to do, what we don't have to do. And then to our students too, when they go to school, what they need to know as a Muslim, how and when there is a problem, what they should do, or who they should address their problem to. This issue, if it is not done now, people are making noises, we would have left it to only the mother and then the father to solve their problems. Had it not come from Joy News and then some of us took it out, trust me, it will just wash away. I will give you a typical example. In Kasua, a child, I think how many years was that boy, 10, 11 or 12?
11
he was made in Kuwait. Yeah. What happened? How many of us in our Zongo community talked about this issue? Because what? Like Sheikh Nail said, oh, Baba Tuna, but it's not my problem. You see, when something happens, it happens to a Muslim, you see, So it is high time when something happened to a Muslim, we should all come together. We should all come together. It's not about sect. It's not about which sect you belong to. It is a national issue. It is an issue which affects a Ghanaian Muslim. If it's an Ahmadiyya child, we should all come together. We are not coming together to support Ahmadiyya, but we are coming together to support someone with a Muslim name to protect the person's interest.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we off?
Yeah. And no, I go ahead.
Okay. Let me just make this last point, and then others can just also come on. You see, it is a fact that we cannot deny that we have differences in our Aqidah. Fine. But when it comes to a national issue, we have to come together collectively and speak with one voice. If we don't do this, then trust me, we should expect the worst to come. A brother made a point when Kufuor came to power. The Christian Council went to him to address their concern. And where were the Muslims? And even if the Muslim were to go to the president, in what capacity? This group will go, or which group will have to go? Because we are grouping ourselves into sects. When it comes to the mosque, we'll go to our mosque, but it has to do with a national issue. Let's all come together. I remember 1994 or 93 in Kumasi, a guy stood on the Holy Quran at KJTR. What happened? The whole Muslim community in Kumasi came out. At that day, on that day, it wasn't are you a Sunni or you are Tijaniya or what and not. We all came together and hit the street right from Central Market to KJTR and then to the Central Police Station because some of the brothers were picked up. We came out and spoke with one voice. So why can't we do the same thing too?
Dennis, in addition to it, we already talked about sensitization of our problems. Before a demonstration is being embarked upon, we need to sensitize our community. But what are the roles of the ulama in this respect? Because, for example, I think Friday khutbah is meant to address issues that is currently happening in the community. Unfortunately, most of our khutbahs has failed to address this issue. Even now, in Ramadan, the tafsir grounds to use at the end to sensitize people of what is happening in the community in Ghana. You know, so these are the roles that, for me, our ulamas are failing to live up to. Okay, but if they fail in this direction, there should be some. That's why I was even in the first place talking about the institutions. All the institutions that we have as of now are geared towards sectarian biases. They don't address community problems. They don't address educational problems. They don't address all these things. It's just about my sect and your sect. You know, so it is time that the elite in the Muslim community or the institutions, we have to remind them that there is a bigger role that they have to play. In doing that, it will go a long way to help us. You know, I always disagree with pockets of demonstration. It won't have any. These are well organized. In fact, when we don't sit up to address all these issues, it will go a long way to affect us. It's already affecting us, but in order for us to catch up with the Christian community so that we will share the national cake together, I think we need to put up more actions. You know, we have to set in motion that our community should rise up and discuss issues that is confronting the Muslim students.
Community.
We need to do that. We really need to do that. Okay.
Right.
I think that's the little contribution I have to give.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Abdallah, for this August submission. Now, we